If you're writing your very first sweet romance book, you may have heard people talk about tropes and wondered what they actually are. Are tropes cliches? Do readers get tired of them? And how can you use them without making your story feel predictable? I'll be answering those questions and sharing 10 types of sweet romance tropes later on in this video. In case we haven't met, I'm Lorna Faith and I write clean adventure fiction, and I also write contemporary sweet romance with my pen name Melody Archer. And I love helping beginning writers to write and self-publish sweet romance books that are deeply meaningful stories that readers love. Here's what you need to know about sweet romance tropes. Readers don't always read sweet romance because they're looking for something completely new. They read romance because they love experiencing familiar emotional journeys in fresh ways. Think of tropes like promises to your reader. A trope tells readers what kind of emotional experience they're about to enjoy. And when you combine the right trope with compelling characters, emotional wounds, meaningful growth, you create the kind of chemistry and tension that keeps readers turning the pages. So today I'll share with you 10 of the most powerful sweet romance tropes and how you can use them to create unforgettable emotional connection between your hero and your heroine. So let's dive in. Trope number 1, friends to lovers. This is one of the most beloved sweet romance tropes. Why? Because the emotional foundation already exists. These characters already know each other and have for years. They trust each other. They've seen each other's strengths. They've seen each other's weaknesses. The tension comes from asking what happens when friendship becomes something more. In sweet romance, this trope often shines because it focuses heavily on emotional intimacy. Instead of instant attraction, readers get to watch affection deepen into love. For example, perhaps your heroine owns a small-town bookstore. The hero has been her best friend for years. He's always helped her when things go wrong. But when another man shows interest in her, he suddenly realizes his feelings run much deeper than friendship. And that realization creates emotional tension. So that's an example of trope number 1, friends to lovers, or as in sweet romance, we would probably call it friends to more. And since we're speaking of writing captivating sweet romance tropes, if you are struggling to write a sweet romance book that readers can truly feel, you can grab my free Sweet Romance Story Starter Pack at the link below. You'll discover the emotional plot beats behind unforgettable slow burn romance, plus worksheets and story examples to help you bring your character's love story to life. Let's continue with trope number 2, second chance romance. Few tropes carry as much emotional weight. These characters have a history. Something happened in the past. Someone made a mistake. Someone got hurt. And now life has brought them together again. The question becomes, can love survive old wounds? This trope works beautifully because readers immediately sense unfinished emotional business. And to make this trope stronger, don't just separate your characters physically. Separate them emotionally. Give them fears, regrets, and misunderstandings that must be healed before they can move forward. The best second chance romances aren't really about getting back together. They're about becoming the people who can finally make the relationship work. Trope number 3, opposites attract. This trope creates tension naturally. Your characters approach life in a different way. One is organized. The other one is spontaneous. One plans everything, and the other one trusts their instincts. Perhaps one loves city life, and the other one wants to stay in their hometown forever. Their differences create conflict, but those differences can also help each character grow. For example, a perfectionist heroine may teach a free-spirited hero responsibility. The hero may teach her how to enjoy life again. The key is to make their differences complementary rather than simply annoying. Trope number 4, forced proximity. This trope places your characters in situations where they can't easily avoid each other. And that's where the real magic happens. Because attraction grows when people spend time together. Some examples include working together on a project, renovating a property, caring for a sick family member, sharing a business together, being snowed in somewhere in the mountains, planning a community event. The more opportunities your characters have to interact, the more opportunities you have to build chemistry between them. And remember, chemistry isn't built through declarations of love. It's built through shared experiences between your hero and your heroine. Trope number 5, fake relationship. This trope is incredibly fun because it creates built-in tension. Your characters agree to pretend that they are a couple, maybe to help one of them secure an inheritance, or maybe to satisfy family expectations, or perhaps it's to save a business. But while they are pretending, the real feelings begin to develop. And now the hero and the heroine are asking themselves, are these feelings real? Does the other person feel the same way that I do? What happens when the pretending ends? The contrast between fake emotions and real emotions creates wonderful romantic tension between your hero and your heroine. Trope number 6, small town romance. Sweet romance readers absolutely love small towns. Why is that? Because small towns create community, and community creates opportunities. Everyone knows everybody else. Secrets never stay hidden for very long. Neighbors get involved, and friends offer advice. Perhaps family members interfere. The setting itself becomes part of the sweet romance. Ask yourself some of these questions. How does the town help bring your characters together? How does the town challenge them? How does the community encourage them towards love? Small town romance isn't just about location. It's really about belonging, and that's where some of the magic happens with this trope. Trope number 7, grumpy sunshine. This trope works because contrast creates sparks. One character sees the world through hopeful eyes. The other character has built emotional walls. One character is a sunshine character who gently challenges those walls. The grumpy character grounds the sunshine character when necessary, and together they balance one another. Here's an important tip. In sweet romance, the grumpy character shouldn't be cruel, just grumpy. They shouldn't be guarded. There's a difference. Readers want to understand why they're protecting their heart, and that's really where the emotional depth comes from in this trope. Trope number 8, the secret. Secrets create tension because readers know something important is eventually going to come out. Maybe the heroine is hiding her identity. Perhaps the hero knows something about her family. Perhaps someone is keeping a painful truth. Or perhaps a past mistake threatens the relationship. The secret creates anticipation. Readers keep asking, what will happen when the truth is revealed? The key is making sure that the secret matters emotionally to both the hero and the heroine. It should challenge the character's fears, wounds, or beliefs. Trope number 9, protector romance. This trope appeals to readers because it creates emotional safety. The hero or the heroine finds themselves protecting someone that they care about, and that protection doesn't always have to involve danger. Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's practical, and sometimes it's simply showing up when someone else needs them the most. Some examples could be helping a struggling single parent, defending someone against false accusations, supporting a character through a difficult season, standing beside them in a crisis. Protection creates opportunities for real vulnerability, and vulnerability creates emotional intimacy between the hero and the heroine. And finally, trope number 10, enemies to lovers, or in sweet romance, we'd probably say enemies to more. This trope creates instant tension from page 1. Your hero and heroine don't start out liking each other. In fact, they may actively avoid each other. They disagree, they clash, they misunderstand one another, and sometimes they can't stand being in the same room together. But here's why readers love this trope. Strong emotions are already present. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. When two characters care enough to argue, to challenge each other, and to continually notice each other, you've already created emotional energy. Some examples could be, perhaps the heroine wants to save the town's historic library. The hero wants to sell the property to a developer. Or perhaps they both want the same promotion. Maybe their families have been rivals for years. Or they each believe something about the other person that simply isn't true. The conflict creates sparks. But as the story unfolds, they begin discovering deeper truths about each other. Perhaps the heroine realizes that the hero isn't selfish after all. Maybe the hero discovers the heroine's stubbornness comes from loyalty and compassion. And slowly, respect begins to replace resentment. Understanding replaces assumptions, and attraction begins to grow where conflict once lived. The secret to writing a great enemies to lovers sweet romance story. The key is making sure that your characters aren't truly enemies. They should have opposing goals, misunderstandings, or conflicting viewpoints. Readers need to believe that these two people could eventually become partners. If the hero is cruel, or the heroine behaves badly without reason, readers may struggle to root for the relationship. Instead, give both characters understandable motivations. Let readers sympathize with both sides. That really creates emotional complexity. For sweet romance writers, one of the easiest ways to write this trope is to ask, what false assumption does each character believe about the other? Then spend the story gradually proving those assumptions wrong. Every scene becomes an opportunity for them to see each other differently. And that transformation from irritation to admiration, from frustration to affection, from conflict to love, is what makes this trope so satisfying. Because ultimately, enemies to lovers isn't really about enemies. It's about discovering that the person you least expected may be exactly the person your heart needs. So, what is your favorite trope? Friends to lovers? Second chance romance? Enemies to lovers? Grumpy sunshine? I'd love to hear which trope is your favorite in the comments below. Now that you understand the different tropes that sweet romance readers love to read, it's time for you to discover 10 sweet romance story ideas that you can write right now. You can watch that video next. I'll see you there.